Okay. Good morning. First of all, I'm going to ask everyone to put your phones on vibrate or silent or turn them off, just so we're not interrupting Melissa during her speech. So, good morning and welcome to the World Dairy Expo's virtual farm tour of Hildebrand Farms Dairy. My name is Lindsay McClintock. I'm with the Kansas Department of Agriculture, Dairy and Feed Safety Program. So in Kansas, we have 222 dairy farms, 17 manufacturing plants, which include fluid, powdered, concentrated milk, cheese, and ice cream. We are ranked 16th in the nation for milk production and have 173,000 dairy cows in the state, and we produce 3.8 billion pounds of milk annually. Of course, those numbers are expected to increase with the arrival of Hilmar cheese in 2024. They are projected to create 270 new jobs and 460 million in capital investments. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Melissa Hildebrand Reed with Hildebrand Farms Dairy.
Thank you, Lindsay. Hello and welcome. Really happy to be here today in a huge way. So this is my first expo. Had a chance to talk to Dad and we were counting his expos, and apparently he's been here 5 times. So it took me applying and getting a virtual farm tour to give me a chance to come and experience Expo. And I was like a kid on Christmas yesterday, running around feeling like I had to hit every single vendor in one day. So I had a really great time and so happy to be here. And a big thank you for the Kansas Department of Ag for giving us this opportunity, because it's given me an incredible chance. So first I want to introduce you to my family. First off, my dad is here. He's going to hate me for this, but go ahead and stand up. This is my dad, Alan. And my mom, Mary. You have to stand up too. They had no idea, you know. And then my husband's here, my husband, Brett. Okay, so this poor man, he got the bait and switch. So we dated for 3 years, and I was a marketing rep for a newspaper. So I was wearing heels and makeup every day. We married May 1st, moved home 2 weeks later. I started at the farm June 1st. The makeup went away, the heels went away, and now he's a husband of a dairyman. So he's stuck with me for better or for worse. And I'm telling you, to be a farm wife is hard. To be a farm husband is even harder. So there's more to our family, though. So let me introduce you to the rest of my family. So the farm is owned by my dad that you just met, and my uncle Dave, his wife Kathy, mom Mary, and then I also work alongside my cousin down here on the bottom, and my cousin Todd, my cousin Julie as well. So it's truly a family operation. And I'll be honest with you, this is an old picture. I would much rather milk 6 heifers at once coming right off the pasture than try and pull my family together for another picture. It is not fun bringing this many adults together in one place and forcing them to smile. So I actually have 3 kids now. The little one that's on grandma's lap, he's now 9. I think he was like 2 or 3 or 4 in that picture. Grandma is about to turn 95, and you can't slow her down. She still comes up to the farm and checks us out every day. For better or for worse, she's still driving. So yeah, she turns 95 into the month. So I have to share the love for the rest of my family because it's truly a family operation. So I'm going to start with just a quick video that just tells a little bit about us. Does the job for me here.
Extraordinary dairy from the heart of the heartland, Hildebrand Farms.
Nestled in the Flint Hills of Kansas, Hildebrand Farms Dairy gives a nod to the days of old as they take milk from their family farm and sell it direct to you. From grass to glass, the Hildebrand family does it all. You see, the Hildebrand family believes that to achieve the perfect milk, everything starts with the best life for their cows, or the girls, as the family often calls them. A visit to the farm and you can see the girls grazing here on their family homestead in Junction City, Kansas. They're milked twice a day, and the milk is taken each morning to the processing plant, where it's made into one of our quality dairy products.
That separates the cream. Other pasteurization we use is our fat.
After the pasteurization process, the milk is bottled in glass to ensure it has the best shelf life and maintains the fresh flavor that only glass bottles can provide. Milk is also separated into cream, which is used to make their rich, premium butter. Once packaged, products are shipped to more than 120 grocery stores throughout the state. Every fall in October, the Hildebrand Farms Dairy invites the public to join us for the annual Harvest Festival. Here, you can relax and just take in the sights and sounds of farm life. And your kids, well, they could just be kids and do what generations of Hildebrand kids have done their entire lives. Play in the hay.
So today is our opportunity to really highlight what it is we do on the farm. So we want to provide an opportunity for kids to get the farm experience, whether it's in a corn pit or hay bale, bouncy house, and really get their hands on a calf and really understand what their dairy is all about. And so we love sharing what we do and opening our farm up and really kind of educating about the industry.
Families can also take a personal guided tour of the dairy and learn where and how your milk is made. The best part of this experience for us are the questions.
Does the milk curdle inside the cow when it gets too hot?
As long as it's in that cow, it's okay.
The Hildebrand family would love to share a little bit of their farm life with you. Feel free to visit their farm store Monday through Saturday right here on the farm, or call ahead and schedule a private tour. The Hildebrand Farms Dairy, the fresh brand, the local brand, the best brand is Hildebrand.
The best brand is Hildebrand.
Hildebrand Farms Dairy, Junction City, Kansas.
So we had an incredible customer that did that for us. Like, he just absolutely loved our product and was like, I want to tell the world about you guys. So really grateful. That's a few years old, I'll be honest. But just to kind of share a little bit more about us. So we farm 2,000 acres of corn, soybeans, alfalfa. Sometimes we'll get crazy and throw some oats or wheat in the ground, but for the most part, those are our products of choice. We process 95% of our milk that we produce through our on-site processing plant. Now, typically, this is actually 100%. So where that 5% comes from is between the months of February and really about May, the cows are producing like crazy and my demand is a lot slower. So being 13 years in business, we definitely can feel the customers' trends of consumer demand, and we can anticipate that. So we're very lucky in our area to have a co-op that will buy our excess. But I also have other outlets that I can separate that cream and use it for other avenues. I don't ever have issues selling cream. Selling milk is different. Selling cream, there's a hot market for. So we currently have 16 non-family members that we employ, 5 full-time family members, 3 part-time. And then, as I mentioned, we're 13 years into this. So I was joking yesterday, it's like 13 years of crazy. So the girls. So I consciously call them the girls, and that is because when I'm selling my product direct to consumer, I'm talking to all types of people and oftentimes not dairymen. And when I refer to them as the girls, any hard edge, preconceived notions they had of me and how I handle my cows typically will almost instantly melt away. So that's just a little change in vernacular that can sometimes make a big impact when you're talking to consumers. So we currently are milking anywhere from 120 to 130. And again, that really is that sweet spot where we can process almost all of that product. We're doing a daily herd average of anywhere from 65 to 70. This summer was tough for us, I'll be honest. We really like being over 70. That's the goal. And we oftentimes hit that in those nice weather months. But man, the Kansas summer was hot this year. We are a little different in that we sort our groups by lactation. And so we have all of our first lactation heifers in a group pen, and then all of our older cows. And we really like that, and that kind of keeps them together by body condition. And it really keeps those younger cows not feeling like they have to fight to the bunk. Because frankly, I've got some bullies in the herd that are not exceptionally kind. And so that's been really good for us making that switch to the different lactation. We are not registered, but we use exclusive genetics. We're actually with Select Sires. And when it comes to my genetic focus, number one, it has to be A2A2. So we've been breeding A2A2 for the last 2 years. Here in the next coming months, I'm going to be doing the A2A2 test to determine how far into the herd I have my A2 genetics to start marketing and labeling our product accordingly. But on a tangent, when you sell milk direct to consumer, it is so important for us as a dairyman to talk up dairy and all dairy, not try and create a niche with A2A2. So in our dialogue, as we talk about A2A2, it's very much going to be targeted to those people that think that maybe they couldn't handle dairy in the past. Like if you're a person that dairy upset your stomach or it wasn't for you, then maybe this is for you. But by no means is this product any more nutritious than what you could get in the grocery store. So that's really important for us, that as we talk about dairymen, or as we talk about dairy, we're not disparaging other dairymen. There's too few of us, right? We have to work together. We have to support each other. Now, I talk about the boys. So we actually finish out our steers. So the boys do have a life on our farm. We finish it out and sell it through our on-site farm store. It's exclusively corn and pellet fed and gives us a really high quality beef. When we take it for grade yield, most oftentimes, the last time we took 8, I believe 6 went prime and 2 went choice. So we know we can make a really great beef product from 100% Holstein, and we sell that through our farm store. And COVID, holy beef holy, we sold the heck out of beef during COVID and people's interest in really connecting with their farmers. That was an interesting year, to say the least, but it definitely hit us on the beef side. And we are just in the beginning stages of incorporating crosses into our herd. I still would always get a little more excited when a heifer drops in a bull, even if they do have a life here. You always want a heifer. That's just like ingrained in me, right? Like how do you correct, 30 plus years of want and desire? I don't know. So this is a quick picture of our farm store. We are not located directly next to a huge metropolitan area. I'll hear people talk about selling direct and they say, location, location, location. And yes, couldn't agree more. But we are located it's a good 10 to 15 minute drive outside of town. Our nearest town is Junction City. And it's a population of, what, Dad? 20,000? So nothing crazy, right? We are fortunate in that Fort Riley is kind of close to us. Fort Riley is another 20-minute, 30-minute drive. And so Fort Riley does have a very diverse population. And we see people from all over the country with Fort Riley. Manhattan is also close. But for us, with our farm store, we know people are coming for an experience. They're not coming to run in, grab their milk, and run out. They can do that in Dillon's grocery store in town. When they're coming onto the farm, they're wanting to see the calves. They're wanting to see us process. They want somewhat of an experience. So we try and provide that as best we can, and then we also have tour times available. They are set tour times. You can't just show up and expect a beautiful tour, but we do a lot of school tours throughout the year, and that's a really good aspect of our business. I will tell you, where our farm's located, I kind of have to brag that we have a heck of a view here. So we were able to bring the drone out and kind of give you a little view of our farm. So this is coming in, if you're driving from Junction and coming onto the farm here, you can see the hay shed to the left. That actually used to be where the processing plant was at originally, and that got moved. We built the plant in 2008. So in 2008 was when we started the construction and we added the farm store and the plant all together. And then this is just kind of the countryside we live in. So this is essentially the Flint Hills of Kansas. If you ever hear of Flint Hills, it's what I thought beautiful rolling hills. And then I came into Wisconsin and I was like, okay, so maybe it is a little flat in Kansas. All right, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. So you can see our freestall barn we built in 1998. We still use our original barns in the back there for dry cow pens and sorting pens. I'm trying to talk Dad into making that nice machinery shed a heifer barn. I feel like maybe we should have a pole here. Yeah, like these are my people, maybe, yeah. So machinery shed, commodity shed, we bag our own silage, so we we raise all of our own feed and harvest it ourselves. And so I love this shot because you can see actually the lake in the back. So we're really close to Milford Lake, and I was in college before I realized you could see our farm from the lake. Like I was out on a boat with a bunch of friends, and I was like freaking out, like you can see our farm. And they're like, you've never been on the lake? And I'm like, well, dairy farming's so fun. Why would you ever leave the farm? You know, and so, yeah, we're a stone's throw from the lake, but at the same time, we have the most stunning view from our porch. So I will tell you, a lot of people come, they'll enjoy grabbing some ice cream, sitting and just checking out our beautiful view. We're happy to share it. Oh, let's see. Move on. You don't need to see that again. There we go. Okay, so what are our products and what do we sell? Our primary product is milk in glass bottle, but we use cream as kind of our supply and demand. So when I have a really high demand, I dip into the freezer for the butter that we make in small batches. When I have a low demand, when I have excess supply, then I can separate that cream, churn it to butter, and then freeze it, because it can freeze up to 6 months. And so that's been really our biggest tool in kind of keeping that balance. And we found that we can make more money actually taking and selling the butter and the cream than selling the entire product on bulk market. Let me say that again. I can make more money selling just the cream and even the cream as butter than I can selling the whole product on bulk market. So there's something to be said for that. So ice cream, not our core product, but just something we sell through the farm. We make our own soft serve. We also do this for the Kansas State Fair. We make a lot of soft serve mixes, and then we have a few ice cream parlors that sell our mixes as well. So everything we put is primarily in the glass bottle though. So distribution, we're currently selling to 140 grocery stores, restaurants, and coffee shops. We're completely statewide. I will tell you, coffee shops have been huge for us, and that was kind of a hidden market when we first started. So we were very focused on retail and moving through grocery stores, but a latte is 80% milk. So when you think of these coffee shops and the amount of drinks and fluids they're pumping through a given business, we move a lot of milk. I mean, I have some coffee shops that are my second and third best customer overall. And the beauty of a coffee shop is there's consistency there, and then they also rotate the product for us, so we're not having any excess come back to us or any wasted product. So we love our coffee shops. I have 3 trucks on the road. I try and keep them going just 4 days a week, so I have a maintenance day. That's been important. That was a lesson learned. When we have those trucks booked out too much, it poses some issues. I work with Kroger down here. Dillon's is a Kroger company and very much the king in Kansas in terms of grocery. Kroger takes our product to their warehouse and cross-docks it and distributes it throughout the state of Kansas. So that's how we're able to touch communities that are 4 and 5 hours away from us, is through this partnership. And then I also partner with another distributor. He actually distributes meat, and then we just send our milk along for the ride. And so any areas that we can find to assist with distribution, because it is very costly to distribute yourself. But where we're located and we don't have big geographic areas in our backyard, we're moving product to Lawrence, we're moving product to Wichita. Both communities are about 120 miles away. So also we use farm use only tags. So for our product, the first movement off the farm is in a glass bottle as it's going to the grocery store. So we're able to tag our trucks farm use only. That saves us in a lot of aspects that we don't have to do logbooks. We also don't have to worry about CDL drivers, and it just makes things a lot more simple for us. So here's a quick video of our plant. Again, our plant was built in 2008. There we go. So we have a glass bottle washer. We are all glass. We don't have any plastic of any type. We are 100% glass. You can see our HTSD here and the two vats that kind of are coming out of picture here. We have our homogenizer coming up on our 12-head bottle, or our bottler or filler. And then you can see our little DeLaval separator over there as well with the raw, and you have 3 tanks in view there. That's our crate washer, and then coming up on what a pallet of crate looks like. So we have 4 holding tanks that allow us to do 4 different products a day. We typically process 4 days a week. So at one point we were 5 days a week, but determined just on saving chemicals and wash time, you spend so much time in preparing and tear down that having a 10-hour day is much more efficient than several 8s. So it was a great cost savings for us, and frankly, it helped a lot on keeping labor. They love working Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's been a good transition for us. All of our equipment, for the most part, was purchased used with the exception of our HTSD. So that was really the only piece of equipment that we purchased brand new, and I could not live without my HTSD. So on an average day, we're processing anywhere from 700 to 1,000 gallon, all in half gallons. So that's anywhere from 1,400 to 2,000 bottles. And it's really nice to be able to come in, pasteurize, process, and be all wrapped up by 9 o'clock. So definitely grateful for that equipment. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay, so as far as how we market, I really market our farm with a mentality of a $0 budget. So when you have not a whole lot of money to market, what do but get creative, right? So let's get creative, let's think outside the box, and with that, we do a lot of event-based marketing, where it's like, let's bring people on the farm, and that just kind of serves as wildfire for us. So there's a few clips of it in the video initially, but our Harvest Festival is our big, show-all event. That's actually next weekend. So the fact that I've been here all week and I've got Harvest Festival coming up in a week is kind of like mind-blowing that I was allowed to come. There's going to be a lot of work on Monday, a lot of work. But our Harvest Festival is, we bring out all the stops. So we do a corn pit, the hay bale play area. There's Captain Cornelius. He's always a hit, although it's always fun to figure out who's going to wear the costume. Hay rack rides. We have live music and then a picnic as well. We provide tours of our farm. It's really our chance to bring out all the stops. So we have that coming up just on October 9th. Lots of work to be had. So we'll get anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 people on our farm just for that like 6-hour window. It's nuts. But it's a controlled nuts. Now we know what to expect. Those first few years, we were a little got. Because it's a public event, free open, and we didn't know what to expect, and holy cow, they came. We've done some cooking classes in our farm store. We have a pretty small store, so it's hard to get too extensive with these cooking classes, but it's a really great way to create dialogue and conversation with people and really feel like you're kind of educating about their food. And I find that when you have these personal touches, this is when you're creating that loyal, diehard customer. Like this is like essentially creating little brand ambassadors that are going to go out into the world and talk about your product and share your product with the world. So providing these experiences have been huge. Okay, yoga on the farm. This is one of those events that I kind of pulled together without my dad and my uncle knowing until the last minute. Because you don't really go to a farmer and say, okay, so we're going to have yoga. And the cows are gonna be there, and the yoga people are gonna see the cows, and the cows are gonna see the yoga. You just let all of that happen and then reveal it last minute. And it was absolutely stunning. We had a beautiful morning. We had a crowd of 70 people, and we capped that, so it was a ticketed event. And I'm telling you, those yoga hippies loved every minute of those cows, and the cows loved every minute of what the heck are y'all doing. So that's one of my crazy harebrained. The other one was a movie night. So we played Ferdinand, and I'm like, Dad, think about it. The cows are gonna get to watch Ferdinand. And he's like, he just rolls his eyes, shakes his head, lets me keep doing what I'm doing. I'm very grateful for that. So we've done 2 movie nights. COVID's kind of put a damper on movie night. We'll potentially bring it back eventually. But this is kind of our Salute to June Dairy Month. So in the month of June, we try and really push June Dairy Month. And this has been one of our events that we've done that. So pretty fun. What you don't see is obviously the girls in the pasture watching the movie as well. We let them out at night, so. All right, couple things just to kind of wrap up. One thing, I kind of put a slide in here, what I don't worry about. When it comes to what I don't worry about market price. I don't worry about a co-op. I don't worry about controlling our future. Our future is within our control. And one thing that I have to add, I don't worry about my inspectors or the regulatory agencies working against me. So I have to tell you, my intro was actually with my inspector. Like, I like her. Like, she's amazing. And I'm not saying that because she's here, I promise. So if I have an issue or a problem, my first go-to is the Department of Ag and my inspector. And she's right there next to me saying like, okay, we gotta figure this out. Like, what do you think about this? Or, you know, like, how do we troubleshoot? How do we fix this? And I've heard some stories of other states that they don't quite feel they have that cooperative model. And that's so disheartening because to me, what we have going on where we are in Kansas, we have a huge support system. And they were instrumental in building our plant. They were huge. So at the time, we had our plans all laid out, and they made recommendations that, in hindsight, we would never want to live without. You know, putting a drain, we had a couple drains. No, they said, you want this whole floor in a drain. Well, thank you, and thank God, because he couldn't have been more right. So very, very important for us, that relationship and that partnership, and I guess that's also a big reason I'm here today. Now, what do I worry about? So I had to throw in a slide of my 3 kids. Aren't they cute? I haven't seen them in 2 days. Okay. This year, labor. Some years are good, some years are tough. 2021 has taken those tough years and like blown it out of the water. It's been very challenging for us to keep labor in our processing plant and even in the milk barn. So where I love to focus on the marketing and building the business, I'm milking cows and I'm processing. That's just the nature of it, but it's tough when you have a 5-person job and you're rolling 3 people deep. So it's been a tough year, but we've just started noticing kind of a curve there. We've got a decent staff right now, and I've got some really good people in place that I feel pretty good about. Next up, customer service. So, you know, I have a lot of customers. Those 140 grocery stores, those are my customers. So if you buy and purchase my milk, I consider you a consumer, and I'm very grateful to you. But my customer is that coffee shop, that first touch user, and I have to make them happy. I have to keep them in stock. I have to keep them with the product they need to move through. If I don't take care of them, that's not going to trickle down to the end consumer. So knowing and understanding my customer, and then also providing quality customer service, and then going back to quality. You know, we're not selling milk at the price of a regular conventional grocery store. So a half-gallon bottle we sell of whole milk, I'll tell you, we sell for $3 a half gallon for our whole milk. The grocery stores are then going to mark that up, so it's going to be about $4.29, give or take, at the grocery store. And then we do have a deposit on top of our glass. So that first purchase of milk is not cheap, but we follow it up with quality all the way through. I actually brought some milk today. So if you're interested, I brought chocolate, strawberry, and root beer milk because I feel like if I'm going to talk about quality, I got to share quality as well. So if you're interested in tasting some milk, I got some at the end here for us. Then we also have work-life balance. Well, that's on any dairyman, right? Yeah, good luck. Reputation. You know, my name is on that bottle. My family's name is on that bottle. So we have to follow it up through and through with taking care and making sure we have a great product. And then finally continuing the farm for the next generation, if they so choose. You know, that's up to them, not us. But making sure that the farm continues on for them is a huge goal. That's probably what our biggest driving factor is most days. So I'm going to finish here, but I'm going to put this, we did a virtual farm tour with Midwest Dairy. I'm going to throw this virtual farm tour on here. I'm going to see if I can silence it though, so it can just run in the background.
Hello, thank you.
There we go. So I'm going to open it up to questions. And then as we do questions, you can also see a little bit more video of our farm. So I also will ask if you have a question. Because we're videotaping, they want it on the mic. So Lindsay, would you pass the mic? I think there's a gentleman in the back that had a question.
That's where I get my steps for today, right?
There you go. So this is our calf barn here. We group our calves after 10 days. We'll put 5 in a group and use a milk bar.
In regards to the mailbox price for milk in Kansas, and what do you have a dollar value on that? And then what is your mailbox price where you do the processing and the direct marketing, I guess? And then if I could also ask the question about what's your anticipation of when Hilmark comes to Kansas and builds the plants, will that be a negative or a positive for your dairy operation or others?
Great question. Let me start with the first part and kind of like our input cost is what you're asking, correct? Because we raise all of our own crops, that really changes, especially as corn's been going up. And so that's something that's fluxing constantly. But our goal is to always put a 20 to 30% increase over our cost of good. So we take our cost of good and put a 20% markup for that flex. With Hilmar cheese coming in, any market is a good market. I mean, even for us, we would happily take it. I'll be honest with you, we live in DFA country, and so I don't know, there's only a handful of us that don't sell to DFA, and so just bringing in another processing plant, another opportunity, that's huge for all dairy. I don't see it affecting us exceptionally very much directly, primarily because we can control our stores and our in-market so well. So as farms were, dumping milk during the pandemic, all of that, I mean, I just cringed for you guys because that, I was actually looking at doing a price increase, and I can do that. Like I can say like, hey, our inputs are here going up, inputs here going up. Okay, we need to pencil this out. This is what we need to do. Of course, all within reason, right? I can't price my customer out of our product, but I have complete control over that. So it's refreshing and really tough to go back. I don't know how I could ever go back. Yeah.
First off, this is a great presentation. Thank you for coming to Wisconsin to give this. This is very good.
Thank you.
I'm curious about how you respond to questions from those who are wondering about plant-based beverages. How do you respond to those types of questions?
Oh, I love that. Okay, so I have a very diverse group of friends, and one of my friends is a plant-based milk drinker, was a plant-based milk drinker. And I love to just say, check the nutrition label, man. I don't ever disparage it because I feel like it speaks for itself. I don't have to talk bad about plant-based products. All you have to do is look at the nutrition label. I mean, it stuns me that more people don't talk about what's in there, the added sugars, all of the who knows what's and the oils that go into those versus my product. You look at my nutrition label and guess what you're gonna see? Milk. Done. That's it. It's the good stuff. Why mess with it? And I had a good friend, and she said, she's like, you know, I gave everything a pass. I'm a huge nutrition label person, and I gave the soy milk a pass. Like, I just assumed it was good because of the way it was marketed. And she's a Hildebrand drinker now, as she should be, because she's awesome. Yeah. Any other questions?
I wasn't going to sit down and watch it, but I'm glad I did.
Oh.
Because I like the enthusiasm you got going on there. But I like to see you're thriving in a tough world of fluid milk.
Yeah.
And we need to do something to get this going in the right direction. My question is, why did you decide to go with glass?
Oh, good one. So he asked, why did we decide to go with glass? So growing up, we always took our raw milk home in the glass pickle jar, right? And so I would put that in my bike basket and like pedal to the house. You remember those days? I'd have the dog and the milk. I don't know how I kept the bike upright. But so we always drank milk out of glass because it was better. And it was like a rite of passage when you can actually pour out of that huge mouth opening. But growing up, again, it was always glass. We knew it preserved product better. Within Kansas, as I had mentioned, Kroger is king. You know, Dillon's is king. They have their own processing plant. So how do you go to Kroger and say, hey, we've got a product that looks just like yours in plastic, but it's from our farm and we think you should sell it in your store? That's where the glass created a niche for us. And so we were able to get product in the store much easier, not because we were selling it as our product from our farm, but because it had a visual differentiating factor. And then through that, we've built our entire business model around the glass. I will be honest with you, there is a lot of labor and work in that glass. And that deposit that I put on is not just a deposit covering my cost for the product, it's also covering my cost to wash it, my cost to haul it, my cost to move it. There's a lot extra there to have that product. But now more than ever, 13 years later, wow, I'm kind of glad that we're in the glass business because it's opened us to so many more people because of it. They know us because of that glass bottle, and that's what we're known for. If we put our milk in plastic, I think we'd be in business for maybe another 6 months, and that'd be it at this point.
What are we going to do to get this fluid milk pulled in the other direction? That's been tough. Man, I think you got the right attitude. Don't worry about all this other stuff. Let's just get what we can have.
I think that for a very long time as dairymen, we gave co-ops and the milk processors the control. We gave them the marketing power. We gave them our voice because it's a heck of a lot easier. And frankly, there's a lot of days I'd rather be working the heifers and the cows than out talking to a customer asking if curdled milk, your milk curdles in a cow. So I get it, right? Like I understand the comfort of staying on the farm, but in the process of doing that, we have completely disconnected ourselves from the grocery store, and there isn't that bridge as much as there should be of customers and consumers knowing us and what we do. And so it's really tough to open your farm out. There's some dairymen that are doing that and making some really great headway, but it's still far and few between. And there's just so much misinformation. You have to understand these advocacy groups are putting press releases out on a weekly basis. I mean, they are pushing their messages, and there's not one, there's not two, there's 30, 40, 50 of these guys all pushing to get their voice out, and their voice is counter to ours. And while we have DMI working, I feel personally, I've seen what DMI does because they see what we do, and so we're in partnership in a lot of different avenues, and they do a lot for us. because we provide those opportunities to bring consumers out, but it feels like it's kind of one against 50, right? And so that's where, as dairymen, if we can take that time to really kind of share what we do, that'd be huge. Easier said than done, though, right? Easy for me to stand up here and say it. It's another thing for me to do it. Yeah.
So I have a question following up on the glass bottles. What is the deposit that is required? What percent come back that are just, chipped up and won't work? And also, what percent don't come back because, I don't know, people lose them, or maybe they're using them as a collector item?
Yeah, great question. So our deposit is $2.75 per bottle is what we charge for a deposit. We usually get about 75 to 80% of our bottles back on returns once a store has been established for about a year. It takes a full year, though, for that store to create those routine customers that are coming religiously and bringing their bottles back. In that first year of a new customer or a new store, you see a lot of peaks and valleys of people seeing it for the first time, grabbing it, trying it out, and then maybe 4 months later grabbing another bottle, real spotty. To build that current customer base, again, takes about a year, so you get about 75 to 80% back. As far as my breakage, on a given day when I'm bottling about 2,000 bottles, I'm probably throwing away anywhere from 2 to 10 bottles that are cracked or chipped or compromised in some way. And again, that has to kind of be built into our deposit cost. And so that is a big part of our business. That deposit cost is a profit center for us. We consider it a product. So when I look at my products and how I sell, whole milk is number one. Blown out of the water. I almost sell 2 bottles of whole milk to every 1 bottle of 2% skim, cream line, chocolate, strawberry, root beer. So all the other ones I sell whole milk almost 2 to 1. Number 2 is my glass bottle deposit. From there, 2% in chocolate or kind of in a tie, and then the rest it's kind of a rat race as far as my hierarchy of products sold. Appreciate your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm interested to hear your 5-year strategy. Where do you see growth coming from here, or is it about embedding the business and really having it humming, like product innovation and what have you? What's driving that? Really fascinated to hear about root beer milk. I haven't heard that one before.
So the root beer milk is here. So try it before you leave. So for product innovation, we have been talking about putting robots on the farm for quite some time. We're milking out of a 6 herringbone parlor built in 1974 by Grandma and Grandpa and my dad and my uncle. It's still milking. It's still getting the job done, but it's definitely due. So for us, bringing the Leleys and the robots on the farm, we would look at retrofitting our freestall barn to situate 2, potentially 3. The challenge with that, though, is that I have that milk supply demand. I know how much milk I have to have, and I have to have that amount of milk each day to fulfill my customers' demand. So in the process of bringing robots on, you often see a little bit of a dip before you can get back to normal, and there's a little concern there. So for us, it's not as simple as saying, okay, we're ready for robots, let's do it. It's like, okay, we're ready for robots, let's figure out the best timing of when we would start construction so that we're not having a dip in production during my high peak. So from October 1st, really until the end of the year is my best season. I sell more milk in the fall, Thanksgiving, Christmas time than any time throughout the year. And so I know that I have to have good supply at that time, and we'll actually calve accordingly. So we try, at one point we were kind of seasonal calving. We've kind of strayed away from that because being a small farm and having 20 drop in a couple days is a little rough for us. But for the most part, we always are thinking about that milk supply and how we can pull that in on the dairy side. Kind of going on a tangent with that, we also have to focus on somatic cell count. So we take huge pride in having a low SMAG cell count. I think my record low is 58. I usually average around, 90 to 100, 120 in the summer. So with that, it gives us really quality milk, and we see that come through in the bottling plant. So we see our product last longer on the shelves when our SMAG cell count's down. About 5-6 years ago, we kind of hit a bad spike where we got into the 400s or 500s, and we could not keep date on our milk. We were dating it, and for some reason it wasn't, we're doing everything right and everything. I'm scrubbing everything, I'm tearing apart all the equipment, wondering where I've got issue, on the phone with Lindsay, like what's going on? It was our SMAG cell count being high. And as soon as that fixed, almost instantly, sometimes you just have to get rid of some of those high girls. Once that fixed, we were back in business, and so it's cool in our aspect that we see it all the way through the whole process. Oh, freestyle burn, a little dark. So Midwest Dairy, so I talked about DMI. Midwest Dairy is our primary checkoff partner, and they came out and did this virtual farm tour, and we have sent this to several schools throughout the region, and we've actually done it a couple times with different schools. Cool. Any other questions, or you want me to stop talking and try some root beer milk? Yeah? I get some head nods. All right, I'm going to come over here. I'll go ahead and pour some bottles if you want to just come up front. I appreciate it.
Do you need some help?
Yeah, if you want.